It started about 10 years ago. I had just landed a decent job in a mid-sized corporate office. Fresh start, new people, and finally a workplace that didn't reek of toxicity, at least that's what I thought. On my third day there, something happened that, in hindsight, became the beginning of a wild ride. I brought a lunch. I was proud of a lasagna I'd made the night before using my grandmother's secret recipe. You know, the kind of recipe that simmers for hours and is cooked with love. I popped it into the office fridge that morning with a smile on my face, stomach already growling in anticipation for noon. Lunchtime came around. I walked into the break room, opened the fridge, and my lunchbox was there. But it was empty, completely cleaned out. Not a single crumb left. I stood there in silence, confused. Maybe someone had accidentally taken mine. Maybe I forgot to put food in it. I tried to brush it off, but then it happened again, and again. Every week, sometimes twice, my food would vanish. It became routine. I'd spend time making healthy, budget-friendly meals only to find my lunchbox sitting empty in the fridge, like some sick joke. The worst part, whoever did it always put the container back neatly, as if they were doing me a favor by returning it. One day, I finally asked around, subtly at first, "Hey, has anyone seen my lunch?" That's when one of my coworkers, Sam, looked at me, lowered his voice, and said, "Oh, that's probably Jeff." "Jeff," I repeated. Sam nodded. "He's kind of notorious. He's been stealing people's food for years. Management won't do anything. He's been here forever, and he's Jeff." I didn't know what that meant at the time, but I would learn. Jeff was older, probably mid-40s, loud, always cracking inappropriate jokes, had a habit of talking over people, especially women. He would make casual sexist comments and laugh like he'd just delivered a masterclass in humor. And now I found out he was also the office food thief. It wasn't just annoying, it was disrespectful. He had no reason to target me. I hadn't spoken more than a few words to him. I was new, quiet, trying to keep my head down, but apparently that made me easy prey. Each day it happened, I felt more invisible, more disrespected. The idea that someone thought so little of me that they could steal from me, over and over, and expect me to say nothing, that hurt. I tried going to management. I explained what was happening. Their response: "We don't have cameras in the break room, and unless you see him do it," basically, they told me to deal with it. So I did. I stopped bringing real lunches, started eating sandwiches at my desk, things that didn't need refrigeration. But I didn't stop bringing lunchboxes. Nope. I brought decoys. Week 1, plain white rice with salt. Week 2, spaghetti with ketchup and cold tofu. Week 3, a mix of kale and sardines that had been sitting a bit too long. And every time the ID box came back empty. That man had no taste buds, or shame. But this wasn't just about bad meals anymore. I wanted him to feel what I felt: violated, disrespected, disgusted. So I got creative. I began a little campaign around the office. Started small. I made sure to talk during lunch breaks loud, enough for nearby ears, to anyone who'd listen. "Have you heard about nutritional recycling?" I'd say casually, as I munched on a sandwich. People would blink. "What?" "Oh yeah," I said, completely straight-faced. "I've started collecting my menstrual blood. I've read studies about how it's full of nutrients and iron, so I've been incorporating it into my meals." You should have seen their faces. "But like, how?" someone asked once. "Oh, I save it in jars," I said, waving my fork. "I pour it into soups or stews. You'd be surprised how earthy the flavor is. It's really grounding." I said it like I was talking about herbal tea. Then, one afternoon, I made sure Jeff was within earshot and pulled out my phone. "Want to see how I make my lunches?" I asked. I'd made a fake video. It showed me stirring something on the stove, then pulling out a menstrual cup and pouring dark red liquid into the pot. It was just beet juice and food dye, but the illusion was real. I made eye contact with Jeff. As I said, "This one's in the fridge right now." He turned pale. The next day, my decoy box was untouched. The day after that, too. Then, Jeff disappeared. He took sick leave for a whole week. When he returned, he looked thinner, quieter, like a man who'd seen something that couldn't be unseen. He never touched the fridge again. Some said he started ordering takeout every day. Others said he brought sealed store-bought meals and guarded them like treasure. As for me, I went back to enjoying homemade lunches. My food stayed untouched. The break room became peaceful again, and Jeff, he avoided me like I was radioactive. Sometimes, all it takes to end a bully's reign is making him afraid of you. Oh, and the dead skin. Yeah, I wasn't kidding. One time, I scraped my heels and added it to a tuna casserole. Nothing harmful, just enough to make me giggle when I thought about it. Did he eat that one? Maybe. I hope he did, because justice doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it comes in the form of a spoonful of fear, served cold, from the office fridge.